welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios every single Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, Great Lakes Honda City comes to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You could go and see them for sales and service Monday through Saturday. Make sure you let them know that DT sent you. And it's the place I've been going to for more than a decade. I put my money where my mouth is. I wouldn't tell you to go get a car somewhere if I don't. And this is literally the only place that I go. So make sure you head over to Great Lakes Honda City today, and you can get a sneak peek of their inventory by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. It is a Thursday, which means that Papa Joe is here, perched up in his normal spot, and we have the opportunity to share some time with PJ inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to be talking about baseball. Major League Baseball is 130-plus games into a 162-game regular season in 2025, so we'll discuss it. We'll also discuss the Jaguars' 53-man roster. Did that Syracuse guy make the team after being drafted in the 7th round, pick number 236? And then we'll get into, speaking of picks, our 2025 college football week 1 picks. That's right, it's already back. PJ and I up on the board writing out our picks instantaneously here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So with that being said, I am picture in picture with the man who told me this morning that the Arizona Diamondbacks are still mathematically in the hunt for the wild card. The man who is the leading fan club member of the only team eliminated from the playoffs with over 30 games to play, the Colorado Rockies. And the guy that would tell me and you that a horse race is better than Big Brother. That's Papa Joe. PJ, how we doing this morning?
Oh, good morning, Daniel. That's good. Zona's got no shot, Daniel, so you better just realize that. They got no shot. I don't care what they say in the mathematics, but they got no shot. They got Corbin Carroll batting third now.
Yeah.
The little guy's got to be leading off. Bat him third. Get out of here.
Yeah. How do you like that, though? The Colorado Rockies, with 132 games into the season, and no, I think it was 134 in, with 32 games, no, I was right the first time. They're with 130-plus games into the season, is what I'll say. The Colorado Rockies, the only one of 30 Major League Baseball franchises mathematically out of the postseason with a record of 38-94.
Well, the White Sox aren't too far behind. So, with as many good teams as there are, there's got to be some bad teams to whip up on, and those two guys are the red-headed chef shells.
Yeah, definitely. So, PJ wanted to spend the entire first hour talking about the Colorado Rockies and what he likes about them, but I vetoed that, and we're going to instead talk about the standings. I'll send it to you, PJ.
Oh, okay. All right, let me pull up a screen here before we get going.
Yeah. So, PJ here, we're going to address Major League Baseball first, then we'll head to the Jaguars, and then we'll round out today's show with our college football picks for week 1, which is a stacked week, and that week will officially start tonight with football being played here in Thursday night. And then Friday we have games, Saturday we have games, Sunday we have games, and on Monday, of course, Bill Belichick, he's got to be on Monday night, right? It's still an NFL primetime slot for him. The only game on Monday night, TCU at North Carolina, which we will talk about. But first and foremost, baseball with PJ.
All right, well, Daniel, the things are tightening up in all the races. American League East, we got the Blue Jays up over the Red Sox and the Yankees by 4.5 games. The Yankees have come to life. Raise the flag.
Yeah.
The last 3 games they've been played against the Washington Nationals, they scored over 30 runs. Mike Stanton is beating Mike Stanton 5 years ago, so I'm happy for that. And the Yankees have got some. We got a kid named Slitzker, who was they brought him up, and he's pitched 3 games. He's won 2 out of 3. ERA is pretty good. He's got good stuff. So maybe he can help the beleaguered pitching staff. You got the American League Central. You got the Tigers who just about all wrapped up.
Yeah.
my Royals are starting to make a move here. I don't think they're not gonna catch the Tigers, but I do believe that they got a very good shot at being a wild card. So I'll hope for that. In the American League West, the Astros and Americans are going to go right down to the wire. Both of these teams are just about identical with good slugging, good pitching, good baseball. I like both of these teams. The Rangers are, six back, really, sort of like in the conversation, but I don't see them denting these two. We go to the National League, and we got the Phillies and the Mets are still going at it. The Phillies and the Mets gained a little yard here, 7-3 in the last 10. Phillies 6-4. The Phillies just bashed the hell out of the ball. You got Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Harper, Roth, Miyamoto. They all can knock the hell out of the ball. And I like their pitching. Unfortunately for Philadelphia, Zach Wheeler has gone down with an injury, and it's that dreaded Tommy John surgery. So you won't see him for the rest of the year, not until the middle of next year. That's sad for the Philly fans. Your man down in Pennsylvania is going to be crying right now, right, Daniel?
Yeah. Yeah.
And National League Central, the Brewers and the Cubs are going at it. The Brewers are stretching out a little bit. Although the Brewers were 6-4 in the last 10 games, the Brewers are only 4-6. Brewers have got the better hitting, but the Cubs, I think, have better pitching. They hit more homers. So this one, even though it's 6.5 games difference, I think this is go down to the wire. In the National League West, we got the Dodgers have retaken the lead from San Diego. I watched a couple of those games a couple of days ago where they played each other. Played Kershaw. The man is he must have a robotic arm. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he's still pitching into his mid to late 30s. He's been on the disabled list for several times over the last 5 years, and here he comes back, and he's throwing darts. I think he's something like 8.2 or 3.00 ERA. He's filling in for the guys that can't pitch for him. So I'm really impressed by the Dodgers. Ohtani is vaulting a little bit. I think there's going to be I got some information on the most valuable players and Cy Youngs and things like that.
Yeah.
So we got the wild card to talk about, and that's going to be something too. Even though Arizona thinks Arizona's going to be mathematically there, right, Daniel? Is that what you're saying?
They are mathematically in it, but you brought up Shohei Ohtani, and I do want to make a note about Shohei and where he stands right now. Shohei, with his 87th pitch yesterday, August 27th, a slider, he got a ground out that triggered a milestone, with that being the fact that this is the first time that Shohei Ohtani has completed 5 innings since coming back from a second repair of an ulnar collateral ligament, a sign that his pitching rehab finally, potentially, hopefully, has reached its conclusion. Ohtani, though, had no time to appreciate the moment. It was his turn to hit. So this is how crazy this is. You get somebody to ground out, then you're back there yourself trying to hit the ball. Now,
right.
Rather than make the rounds along the third base dugout and take a rest on the bench, Ohtani went over, got his batting helmet, strapped on elbow and shin guards, grabbed his bat, and got ready to lead off at the bottom of the 5th inning in this truly unique play that he is. Now, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said, "I'm excited for Shohei after a 5-1 sweep clinching victory. Quote, he was one hitter away from not getting a chance to get a win because of the pitch count, so I think it was good for him to get that win," end quote. Now, the Dodgers are essentially treating 5 innings and somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 pitches as Ohtani's limit this season. Ohtani called reaching that threshold, quote, really key in terms of moving forward, end quote. So, your thoughts, PJ, is Shohei Ohtani, 87 pitches, right around 90, 5 innings in, gets a victory, and this is the first 5 inning that we have seen him pitch since coming back from that second surgery. Thoughts on the state of Shohei Ohtani?
He looked tough. He looked good. I watched him. He struck out 9, I think. Wicked slider last night. But, I got some statistics here that are going to bring in Ohtani again. And it's really not the best news, but I'm going to say it anyway because I do it every week. We're talking about the American League MVP. I like to get everything out in front because some of these guys are leading their teams to the playoffs. And it's important that we talk about these guys because they're not going away. For instance, American League MVP, Judge, is no longer the favorite because Cal Raleigh from Seattle has hit 50 homers, 107 RBIs. Judge has been on a major slump for the last month. He's only got 41 homers and 95 RBIs, and he's only hitting 323. Now, it just was a couple last month that we were talking about Judge is going to be, he's going to hit 375, he's going to hit 50 homers. It's not happening. Not happening. The Yankees have been in a slump, along with Anthony Volpe. Judge is in a slump, but Stanton is picking him up, so that's okay. But anyway, Taylor Ward from Angels has 30 homers, 94 RBIs. He's a lukewarm third choice here, but by no means he's a good ball player and probably will be traded. Again, of course, that's all these Angels do is trade away their players. For the American League Cy Young, it's 2-horse race. Tarek Skubal, 11-4 with a 2.28 ERA, 210 strikeouts. Now, he won last year, if you remember. This year, he's got competition from Garrett Crochet, used to be with the White Sox, signed with Boston. He's 14-5, 2.38 ERA, 207 Ks. Whoever's going to get the last start of the year probably and win is going to win the Cy Young Award. This is really cool. I saw Crochet the other night, and he is nasty. Yeah. He's better than he was with Chicago. Let's go to the National League MVP. You mentioned Ohtani. Okay, we talked about him. Hitting 278, 45 homers, 85 RBI. But he's not my favorite. Okay. Right now, I got Kyle Schwarber from Philadelphia. He's hitting 249, 45 homers, 110 RBIs. And then a lukewarm third favorite, my man Christian Yelich from the Brewers, hitting 271, 26 homers, 90 RBIs, stolen 15 bases. Daniel, these guys, Schwarber is going to lead his team. Ohtani's going to be leading his team. So you figure it that both of these guys are going to go down to the wire to see who's going to get the MVP. Frankly, I like Schwarber a little bit more because he's done more. Ohtani is pitching this year. He's only 1-1, but his ERA is 4.19. Now, granted, we saw him last night. I think he gave up 2 runs and he struck out 9, as I said, for 5 innings. He looked sharp. But with a 4.19 ERA, he's not going to get any votes. I really look to Schwarber to be this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
National League Cy Young Award. Zach Wheeler from Philadelphia was in the driver's seat for most of the year. Now he's down and out for this year and all half of next year because of Tommy John surgery. And the favorite is Paul Skeens from Pittsburgh. Now, folks, if you're following Pittsburgh, there's not much to follow because they don't have a complete team. He's 8-9. He's got a 2.07 ERA, 183 strikeouts in limited action. Now, with Wheeler down, no one else is stepping up. So I like Skeens. If you possibly maybe can win another game, at least get to 500 and say, the National League Cy Young Award winner is with a 9-9 record or a 10-9 record, Paul Skeens. Rookie of the Year. The Rookie of the Year is going to go down in American League between Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson from the A's. Both are strong. Both are hitting. Wilson's hitting over 300. He got hurt. He's on a disabled list. I don't know if he's going to make it through the rest of the year. If I was Los Angeles, if I was whoever they are, the Athletics, I would sit him down. I mean, why bust your ass for the next couple of games? It's not going to make any difference. National League Rookie of the Year is Drake Baldwin. Still, he's got a pretty commanding lead for Atlanta. The Brewers have got a 28-year-old rookie called Isaac Collins. He's making some noise too, but I think Drake Baldwin is in the driver's seat for the Rookie of the Year. Okay.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, when we take a look at all of this, the Cy Young leaders and the MVPs and what it's going to come down to, I will be putting up polls here as well so that we can take a look at what you're thinking and who you believe should be that. I do have a couple polls that are up that I want to make mention of, and one of them having to do with the baseball world, so we'll hit that one first, then we'll go to football in just a little bit. But the baseball poll that's up, PJ, that I figured you would appreciate is, as I said, if you had to choose, feet to the fire, right now, which New York-based team would you back to go farther in the 2025 Major League Baseball postseason? Who do you think is going to go the farthest? Is it the Yankees or the Mets? Current voting is 57.1% Yankee, 42.9% Met. If it was you, PJ, would you be repping the Yankees and Brooklyn? Or pardon me, the Bronx. I always want to say Brooklyn. That's where my grandma's from. Would you be repping the Yankees and the Bronx? Or would you be repping Queens and the Mets? If you had to pick right now which one would go farther in this postseason of 2025, are you thinking Yankee? You thinking Met? And why?
Oh, it's a good question, Daniel. Both teams have fallen off a little bit this year, especially the last month. The Mets especially. They can't seem to beat Philly. I'm going to say the Yankees, mainly because the top five guys are hitting the hell out of the ball. And they've got some help now pitching-wise with this kid Schlitzker. Carlos Rodon is pitching real well. Max Fried got a shot at being a Cy Young Award winner, although not in the class of Screwball and Crochet. Aaron Boone is trying to deflect as many questions as he can away from the situation. He's making sense when he's talking, but the pundits don't care about that. They said, well, this is what's happening. Why don't you change this and let's do it this way? He's not going that way. For instance, Anthony Volpe has been in a major, major, major slump. I mean, he's something like 1 for the last 35. I mean, that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
Not only that, he is right at the Mendoza line. Now, this is a kid's been playing for 3 years, the starting shortstop for the New York friggin' Yankees. Not Derek Jeter. This kid. He's a hell of a fielder, hits well. He's just in a slump. Mentally, possibly. His eyes, red. I get all that. But Boone, still deflects the criticism. He wants to give him a chance. He sat him for 3 games a couple days ago. He started him last night and went 0 for 5. Everyone else was killing the ball. They got 12 runs and 18 hits. None of that were Volpe.
Yeah.
Well, they bring in this kid Caballero. Then they got Rosario. They got on a trade. They got some mix and match now. Caballero is a good player, and you can play any infield position. Play the outfield. Got a good arm. Steals bases. I think he's got a chance to last with the Yankees next year. But I do have some. This is something that I'm going to prognosticate, and you can take it for what it is. If the Yankees are going to go without Volpe, and there's a good chance that maybe next year they'll either release him, which is ridiculous because he's worth something. He's worth a lot, frankly, but not with the Yankees' eyes. If the kid can't produce, even in the late season, in the playoffs, if he can't produce, I predict that the Toronto Blue Jays starting shortstop, Bo Bichette, who's hitting over 300, almost got 100 RBIs, hits 25, 28 home runs.
Yeah.
I predict that the Yankees will steal this kid from Toronto. Now, I'm not sure what they're going to offer him.
Yeah.
Offer Toronto. I don't know what they got that Toronto would want. But Bichette is going to be a free agent. His Guerrero, his little buddy there, signed for multi-billion dollars, And but Bichette is every bit, if not more, valuable than he is. Bichette plays a serious shortstop. Got a hell of an arm, hits for average, runs well, steals bases. Both of these kids, as I've said many times on this show, grew up in the locker rooms of their parents because both of their parents were Hall of Fame players. And Bo Bichette is every bit as good as his father is. So I'm going to make that prediction right here that I think that they're going to try to steal Bichette over the winter to try to, or maybe now, I don't, but you can't do that with the playoffs. I mean, Bichette is too important for Toronto to get rid of. That's it, Daniel.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And Bo Bichette, obviously the Toronto Blue Jays in general with their entire team doing very well. And Bo Bichette's doing an incredible job being there. I think he's going to be somebody that's highly sought after if Toronto was looking to ever let him go, which I don't think they will. So that would be more of a Bo Bichette, not a Toronto Blue Jay thought, I think. And, on my side of it, between the Yankees and the Mets, in their last 10 games, they're both 7-3. They have both come on late. Here's my thing. On the Yankee side, when you talk about which team's going to go farther in this year's postseason, on the Yankee side, you got the Tigers, you got the Blue Jays, you got the Red Sox, who I think they'll struggle with, and you have the Astros. On the Mets side, of course, you have the Phillies, you have the Brewers, who the Diamondbacks just beat recently. You have the Cubs, you have the Dodgers, and probably the Padres. So, if I had to pick right now which side I think we would see a team go farther in, I think that the Yankees can do some good things against certain teams, but I question what they can do against their own division of the American League East if they're put up against the Blue Jays or the Red Sox. I think the Mets are a more sneaky, dangerous team in the postseason. So if I had to pick right now who's going to go farther, I would lean more on the side of the Mets in this moment to go a little bit farther than the Yankees, because I feel like the Yankees' road is, and I know people are going to argue this because they're going to say, Dan, what about the Dodgers and this and that when you look at the New York Mets. But if we looked at the wild card right now and how it stands currently, and we look at our top teams, right, the number 1 and 2 seeds take a break, and then 3 plays 6 and 4 plays 5. So right now the Yankees would play the Red Sox in a 3-game series, and the Astros would play the Mariners, which is funny because that would put us in a situation where we have divisional matchups right out the jump here, right out the gate. And if that be the case, and the Yankees were to play the Red Sox and the Astros were to play the Mariners, I would pick the Astros, and I think that's going to be a tough series between the Yankees and the Red Sox, and the Red Sox can very well win it. The Mets would be in a situation right now where they would play the Phillies and the Cubs would play the Padres, but we know that the Mets have been able to do some things against the Phillies, and they have been able to play spoiler before, and obviously they've had a good series right here recently against the Philadelphia Phillies. So feet to the fire, would say Mets in a divisional matchup against the Phillies in a wild card, I think would do better than the Yankees in a divisional matchup against the Red Sox. My gut feeling is if the Yankees see the Red Sox in the first part of the postseason, the Red Sox are going to knock them out of the wild card. That's my gut right now.
Yeah, it's all the wild card situation is probably going to go down to the wire too. I noticed that the Yankees are only up by 1.5 with Boston. There's so much thinking that goes into baseball at this time of year, and they're trying to plan. I know they're trying to plan. I know these teams are probably trying. If I got a short series of 5 games against such and such, I need to know who my 3 pitchers are going to be. And instead of trying to win the games that they're playing, to remove themselves to the situation, they just keep creeping along. They're trying to make plans where they shouldn't need to make plans. They just keep winning right now, every one of these teams. And if you want to say Arizona, certainly Arizona can sneak in there, but it's not good baseball to try to think ahead. I mean, you have a game in front of you. You have a pitcher that you're hitting against. You need to know all about that pitcher. You need to know how the defense shapes up, know how the offense shapes up against their pitcher. You got too many things to think about. Forget about going into these other down the road tennis things. If you want to start winning now or winning with authority, you're not even going to make the playoffs. So as much as I like the theories, I just can't see that. I'm trying to get the wild card. Oh yeah. Okay, so Boston and the Yankees are in the best position to get the wild card, and the third team in that equation, I think, is Kansas City, which is one of my favorite teams. Now that's six awful good teams right there. Really, 6 awful good teams. We left Boston for dead about a month ago, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were just buried. And Crochet started pitching better. The hitting started hitting. They picked up Lowe, who plays first base for them and hits the hell out of the ball too. So, if you want to rent an arm for this time of year, maybe you can try to swing a deal for one of the real veterans that you can rent for a couple of months because you won't be able to sign up next year. There's a lot that goes into it, Daniel. Nationally, you're right. It looks like Chicago, San Diego, and the Mets are going to be involved in that. Those three. Again, that's 6 very good teams. I mean, you can put all those teams together and really can't come up with a favorite unless you have good starting pitching. And I think that's where the Dodgers excel.
Yeah, and I mean, it is definitely going to be down to the. I mean, I love when that's the thing about the wild card race is it's so exciting, and you could track it at any point. You could track it 20 games in, 50 games in of a 162 game season. They're putting this information out there of where teams are at. So I love that we're coming down to this. I think baseball, when you have the Yankees and the Mets both in the postseason, I think that makes it better. I think it gets more exciting and it gets people involved. I love it selfishly because when both are in the playoffs and I'm down in New York City for Superpowered Pop, my entertainment show covering New York Comic-Con, I have a chance to go see a game or at least have them around there during that time period or watch them or get to feel the pulse of the boroughs while I'm down in New York City. So I'm excited when that happens, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great, and hopefully they'll both make it, and we'll see what it looks like when they do. But, like you said, the Royals, the Reds, there's teams that are out there that are fighting, that are chomping at the bit, that are right on the heels of trying to get into this thing. So we'll see what happens and how these series pan out with what we have now, like not even 30 games left to play at this point. So really, really excited to see what's going to happen. PJ and I are going to take a step aside. I put out a poll on where you would like to see Kyle McCord. He was released by the Philadelphia Eagles, signed to their practice squad. We see this happen all the time, is you get the bad news of seeing somebody released, and then right after you see that some of those players that got released, and I do it all the time with the Jaguars, where I'm like, oh man, I can't believe they released that guy. And then they put out their practice squad, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's not released. He's just like on retainer, so he's sitting there waiting for his moment on the practice squad now. So you do get that good news after the bad news, but I think that Kyle McCord should be somewhere else. There is a bunch of different places I think he could go where maybe he could be the backup or have a better chance to play at a different team than being with the Philadelphia Eagles behind Jalen Hurts. PJ and I are going to talk about it. We're going to take a look at the X poll to see what you think about where you think he should go based on the options I gave you. That's coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. The Kyle McCord sweepstakes has begun. Where should the former Syracuse gunslinger head to? We'll talk about it right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpazpopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpazpopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare it to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are here with Papa Joe on a Thursday. PJ, you know, has a post here on Wake Up Call on Thursdays, and we are hanging out speaking on a bunch of different topics as college football is in. The NFL is about to come back, and Major League Baseball is heading toward the postseason. That's that sweet spot of baseball and football. And as you know, over the years, PJ and I, in a 2-hour show, will talk about baseball for the first hour, football for the second. We're going to get a little bit more into football this time around because I want to ask PJ about something. Now, I'm going to preface it by letting y'all know that Kyle McCord did not make the 53-man roster for the Philadelphia Eagles, who made some moves here and decided to bring in Sam Howell, who is also a former ACC quarterback. He was with the North Carolina Tar Heels, and I covered him when he was in college. So Kyle McCord doesn't make the 53-man roster. He's on the waived release list. However, they do put him on the practice squad. So like I said, you hear the sad news of somebody doesn't make the 53-man, and then you say, oh man, I can't believe he didn't make the team, da-da-da. And then right after that, some of those players actually make it to the practice squad. So they're on the team, but not on the team. They're there, but they're kind of in this like little holding area. And so with Kyle McCord still with the Philadelphia Eagles, the question that I put out there is, where should he go? Because you can take somebody off of a practice squad. Alan Lazard was on the practice squad for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Green Bay Packers took him, and we obviously saw what he could do with Aaron Rodgers. So the question becomes, of the teams in the NFL, there's 32 franchises. If you take out the Eagles and say, who of the 31 franchises should Kyle McCord go to? I gave you the choices of the Jets, the Saints, the Dolphins, and the Raiders.
The Raiders.
That's right.
Yes.
So 7.7% of you said Saints. 15.4% said Dolphins. 23.1% said Raiders. And the 53.8% of you, more than half of you, said the Jets. So we're going to discuss Kyle McCord, who led the country last year. Not Cam Ward, not Shedeur Sanders, not Will Howard, not Quinn Ewers, not Arch Manning, and on and on and on, and not Garrett Nussmeier. Kyle McCord led the nation in passing yards last season of 103-plus FBS teams, all of the quote-unquote power conferences. He led everybody in America that was out there throwing passes. Not only did he do that, but he set so many Syracuse records, it was insane, including single-season passing yards for a Syracuse quarterback, including single-season, I believe, passing touchdowns for a Syracuse quarterback. And he set a new record. There was no Syracuse quarterback, not Marvin Graves, not Donovan McNabb, not Ryan Nassib, not Eric Dungy, not Don McPherson. Nobody in the history of Syracuse football at quarterback had ever had 4 straight games of at least 300 passing yards. Kyle McCord not only had 4 straight games, which he did in his first 4 games in the jersey, but he set the record at 7 straight.
Right.
And in all the games that he played, 13, including a bowl win on the West Coast in San Diego that I was there for at Snapdragon Stadium for the DirecTV Holiday Bowl over Washington State, Kyle McCord, in 13 games in orange and blue for Syracuse, had at least 300 passing yards 12 times in 13 games. And the only one he didn't was against Virginia Tech, where he had like 280. So Kyle McCord almost set the Syracuse streak, which was never 4 games straight of 300 or more passing yards. He almost made it 13 of 13, a 13-game consecutive streak of at least 300 passing yards. He only missed having 300 yards in every game by like 20 yards. against Virginia Tech. Every other time, the man did it, including 7 in a row. He's also the ACC's single season leader in passing yards in 1 year. That is above every Clemson quarterback, Florida State quarterback, Miami quarterback, Syracuse quarterback, North Carolina quarterback, Duke quarterback, Pittsburgh quarterback, Louisville quarterback, and on and on and on in the history of the ACC. Yet, people say, well, he came out there and he threw 5 passes, Dan. He threw an interception. He sucks. And I would say to those people, maybe you should watch something other than football because I don't think you understand it. And the other thing that I would say, when one person wrote, what have you done lately? Yeah, Kyle McCord's got 1 million records, but what has he done lately? People like that will always complain. You could save their life on Monday, and they're saying, well, why didn't you make me a sandwich on Tuesday? So Kyle McCord is on the Eagles practice squad. But where would I like to see him go? Well, it's open season for the New Orleans Saints because Papa Joe's favorite player of all time, Jameis Winston, isn't there right now. So with that being said, they have Tyler Shuck, who played at Louisville last year after transferring there, also covered Tyler Shuck, and I'm excited for what he can do. But New Orleans has guys, they just let go of Jake Haener. They have guys that are rookies, 2-year guy, a 3-year guy. They're all young. So Kyle McCord could go there. And I think New Orleans is going to play more than one quarterback this season. That's my thought. He could go to the Dolphins because Tua typically, unfortunately, doesn't play every game. And I hope that he does. And I hope he never gets hit in the head again because I want this man to have a good life, not just a good NFL career. So if he goes to the Dolphins, he is 1 play away because of their... I know everybody's 1 play away, but Tua is typically in a... There's a more often than not chance that Tua hasn't been there for every game. So if he goes there, he could step right in as a backup. If he goes to the Saints, like I said, it's open season, and I think they're still trying to figure it out. And then if he goes to the Raiders, they have Geno Smith, but they just brought in Kenny Pickett. And I think that Kyle McCord can be better than Kenny Pickett. And why would they bring in Kenny Pickett in the 11th hour if they were sure that they had everything they needed in Geno, or that they had everything they needed in their backup to Geno? And then if he goes to the Jets, Justin Fields, that's all well and good. And you're going to hope that it works. But is Justin Fields a long-time answer? Maybe yes, maybe no. So I think any 4 of these teams is a good place for him to go. If I had to pick right now and I was Kyle McCord's agent, I would go to the Dolphins or the Saints if I wanted him to be the number 2 right now, potentially, and to have a better than not chance that he could be the number 1 in an emergency situation. But if he goes to the Jets, that could be a future for him within the next couple of years. And if he goes to the Raiders, the Raiders have been known to play multiple quarterbacks in recent history in a season, playing 2 to 3 to maybe even 4 different quarterbacks. So I would like him to go to any one of these 4 teams. Most of you right now are telling me Jets. But PJ, what do you think? If you were Kyle McCord's agent, where would you send him? And secondly, do you think it's ridiculous that people are criticizing and knocking this guy for how he played his first NFL snaps after leading the nation in career passing yards, in single season passing yards?
Sometimes it boggles the mind how some of these executives figure things out. I remember last year, I had 3 kids on my list to be most valuable player. Cam Ward, of course, Kyle, and a kid from Ohio State. Now, those 3 kids together, they're not kids, they're young men. They're 23, 24 years old. They played 5 or 6 seasons. They're not 20-year-old wet behind the ear kids. These are men. Kyle McCord was as good as anyone last year. And I had him at the top of my list, even ahead of Cam Ward. So, if I was his agent, I would probably get Scott Boras to go ahead and try to do something. I don't know if he does have Scott Boras, but I think his agent should just really canvass the teams and say, look, I got a dynamite young man, not a kid, young man that can play the position and throw the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
If you want him, talk to me, and we'll see what can happen. You know, if he's going to be on a practice squad, big deal. The kid at this age, I think he's 24 years old, 23, 24 years old. I mean, he's a man. I mean, he's worth every penny that anyone can put on him. Let's put it that way. And can he start in the NFL? Probably not right now, but he sure is a hell of a lot better than most of the backups in this situation. That's for sure.
Yeah, you know, and I definitely agree with you. I think with the backups that we have, how can you argue that he doesn't have a spot somewhere where he can play that's better than simply being on a practice squad? So with that being said, we shall see what happens. But Kyle, you know, as you've always known, I'm in your corner, and I'm hoping the best for you. So not one of those fair weather people that shows up when everything's going well. And the what have you done for me lately people, I'm just going to say this. I hope that I don't meet any more of you for the rest of my life. I hope I live to be 100 plus years old, and I hope I never meet a, what have you done for me lately? Yeah, you mowed the lawn yesterday, but today you didn't get me the remote control, so I think you're bad. I mean, these just fickle people. You want to know why there's divorce in America? Because people don't work through problems. They don't figure out kinks. There's divorce in America because people don't care. Why did I get divorced? Because I was married to a person who said we deal with problems by pretending they don't exist. Where I said we deal with problems head on, she said put them under a rug. That's not how you deal with stuff. And this, what have you done for me lately? You're never going to be satisfied. So to the people that are constantly asking for more, I would tell you, eat your sandwich, shut up, and watch some football. So, PJ, let's go to the Jacksonville Jaguars and take a look.
Aye, we have to.
Yes. We're going to look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, not their front office.
I know we're both pissed off at the Jaguars.
Oh, yeah.
We're not trying to keep an open opinion here.
Yeah, we're not going to look
at them. And I have done a lot of research on them.
Yeah.
But whatever.
So, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, you know, when you talk about relationships, that's another story. But the Jacksonville Jaguars have released their 53-man roster. Their quarterbacks that they have, starting quarterback Nick Mullins, I'm kidding. So Trevor Lawrence is their starting quarterback. They've only kept 2 on their 53-man roster. Their running backs, which I'll come back to this in a minute. I'm going offense first, but I will come back. They kept 4 running backs. Travis Etienne Jr., who still doesn't have an extension to his contract. I think he's trade bait. Tank Bigsby, who I think is going to be the starter. And Biashul Tutin, who they brought in the draft. He is a rookie out of Virginia Tech. And also, 7th round, 236 overall pick, LaQuint Allen Motherfreakin Jr., who has been on the show multiple times, and he is a rookie out of Syracuse. He's also the tallest rookie that they have at 6, or tallest running back they have on the roster at 6 feet. They kept 5 wide receivers on the 53-man roster. Diami Brown, who they brought in from the Commanders, out of North Carolina originally. Brian Thomas Jr., coming off of a great rookie season for the Jaguars. And I also have my only 1 of 1. And what a 1 of 1 means is it means it's the only card that was ever made of its kind. The only one that I've ever gotten, and I picked myself, is a rookie card of Brian Thomas Jr. This card, there's only 1 of, and they easily can go for $300. He does well this season. That could be a $500-$600 card. So, Brian Thomas Jr. Then we have Parker Washington. We have two-way player Travis Hunter, the rookie, who they traded up for to get with the 2nd overall pick out of Colorado, who just won a Heisman. And then we have Austin Trammell, wide receiver, who is in his 4th year from the Rice Owls, who I cover in the American. At tight end, the Jaguars decided to keep 3. Hunter Long, who used to be at Boston College. I covered him there. Brenton Strange, who is going into his 3rd year out of Penn State, and Johnny Munt, who is in his 8th season out of Oregon. On the offensive line, this is PJ's favorite player on the Jaguars, Chuma Edoga, and that offensive lineman is from USC in his 7th year. Jonah Monheim is a rookie out of USC. Wyatt Millam is a rookie out of West Virginia. Patrick McCarry in his 7th year out of Cal. Cole Van Lanen, who is a name that you do know who's filled in at times. He's usually on the third string, but he has filled in for the Jaguars. 5-year out of Wisconsin. Walker Little, who PJ does love, no jokes here. 5th year out of Stanford. Robert Hainsey, 5th year out of Notre Dame. Ezra Cleveland, 6th year out of Boise State. And Anton Harrison, 3rd year out of Oklahoma. PJ, I want to start where I ended. The offensive line for the Jaguars features Anton Harrison, Ezra Cleveland, Walker Little, and Cole Van Lanen of the names you know. Everybody else is a new name to this offensive line. They have let go of long-standing veterans in the NFL that they spent a ton of money on. They, over these last couple of years, have said see you later to a bunch of guys who are on big year contracts. This line almost never stays healthy. What are your thoughts now with the only returning names being Cleveland, Van Lanen, who have been backups, Little, who's been a backup, and Anton Harrison, who's the only guy who's really been a true starter for them?
Well, it's always been their Achilles heel, that's for sure. And I read this morning that Brandon Sheriff, who was with the Jaguars for years, announced his retirement after 10 years. And he's a go-to guy. The guy could do anything and play anywhere. But you know, these guys, when you're late 20s or early 30s, you're long in the tooth, and you don't play football anymore.
Yeah.
This is going to be a problem, Daniel. This is going to be a problem because the GM is who's new, along with Liam Cohen. He's new. And they're going to be looking, especially from down up top, they're going to be looking to see what these guys do to protect Trevor Lawrence. Now, if after 3 or 4 games, Lawrence is getting the hell kicked out of him and can't complete any passes, then he got some serious issues. And frankly, I did not follow them at all during the exhibition season because I don't like it anyway. And I just don't understand how they evaluate the players, but that's another story. But if he's got Walker Little on his left side to protect Trevor Lawrence, maybe they can squeak through okay. Walker Little came in with a big fanfare. He's 6'8", 330 pounds, something like that. Someone that big and that quick and that fast should have been playing earlier, not later. Yeah. He tried to crack the lineup first couple of years. He didn't do it. He was always the third man in, and then 4th year. So this year maybe he's going to lead the team. Daniel, this is going to be the problem for the Jaguars starting the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I mean it is every year. It is every year. And keep in mind that in the time that Trevor Lawrence has been on this team, he's had 1,000,001 coaches. He has seen his head coach change multiple times. He has seen his offensive line not be healthy. He has dealt with a high ankle sprain. He has dealt with a shoulder injury. He has played when he probably shouldn't have. So when people come to me and they go, "Are you done with Trevor? Do you think Trevor was a bust?" No. I think Trevor at not 100% is not a good thing. I think Trevor running for his life because his offensive line can't ever stay friggin' healthy, and they always seem to spend money on guys that don't pan out. That's a problem. And when you go from head coach to head coach to head coach, he didn't do that. When he was in high school, you go to high school, you got your coach, you do your thing. You go to Clemson, you got Dabo Swinney, you do your thing. This guy had coaches that weren't taking the plane back so that they could dance up on a girl that's not their wife. Trevor Lawrence has been through a lot. He's been through a lot. And I don't blame him for most of it. Now, will he make a mistake here and there? Yeah. But do I think he went from high school where he was good and college where he was good and he went to the NFL and all of a sudden he's a bust? No. Give him a healthy offensive line. Give him a coach that knows what the heck he's doing that actually sticks around. And let's see where he goes. But no, I'm not blaming Trevor Lawrence for most of the Jaguars' offensive problems. Now, I do want to go to this, PJ. One of the running backs that the Jaguars decided to keep is a 7th-round pick out of Syracuse. He's a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher. He's a guy who I've spent a lot of time with. He's been on the show numerous times. We shake hands, we give hugs. and he is one of the hardest working people that I've seen come through Syracuse. What are your thoughts that the Jaguars decided to keep LeQuint Allen Jr. out of Syracuse as one of their running backs?
I think that they did the correct evaluations. I remember you talking about him and with him on several occasions. He's certainly big. I mean, my goodness, how big is he?
He is 6 foot. The guy has little to no body fat. He's definitely put himself in good shape over the years. He's just a little bit above 200 pounds.
Okay, all right. I thought it was as big as Tank Bigsby or something like that. No, this is a class move, and he's certainly going to be an excellent backup. You know, we talk about the running backs a lot, and I think you and I both agree that Travis Etienne has not lived up to his potential, and I don't really think that the Jaguars need to extend him. He came in with a lot of fanfare from Clemson, and maybe he can't adjust to an offensive line that's not very good, which has been the case for him. The more we talk about Tank Bigsby and watch him and see him and evaluate him, he's the guy that should be carrying the mail, period. Now, there's a man that's big.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid's not very tall, but he's 225 pounds. He can run over anyone. And I look for a coach to maybe put in Tank a lot more than Etienne. Etienne is valuable coming out of the backfield, catching passes, doesn't block worth a darn. Tank at least can block. And all those, we're talking to the offensive line. I mean, you got guys that can run behind a makeshift offensive line, and you got guys that can't. If the hole isn't there, they start freaking out. I'm gonna get killed. Well, they do get killed. So the next time, maybe make a little variation, cut out instead of cut in or something like that. I like the sign from Syracuse. Anyone who gains 1,000 yards in college with makeshift offensive line, just put it that way, is worth it. And I like the pick.
Yeah, and LeQuint Allen Jr., like you said, I mean, running behind guys where there was some change on the offensive line. It wasn't going to be these 5 guys every single time. And he went from year to year having different guys in different spots. So shout out to LeQuint Allen Jr. and the work that he has done. And Travis Etienne, I bring it up all the time. If the Jaguars believed in this guy, they would have extended him by now. He got the club option that you can pick up his 5th year, which they did as a rookie. Now, keep in mind, in the first year, he didn't play. Got injured, unfortunately, and he didn't play. So he was a cap hit of over $2.3 million in year 1 when he didn't play, just shy of $3 million in year 2, his rookie year, we'll call it, 3.5 plus in his 3rd year, 4.1 in his 4th year. He's costing the team this year over $6 million, but he's an unrestricted free agent next year. They have not extended him. He came in the same year as Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence taken care of. Josh Hines-Allen taken care of. Foye Oluokun taken care of. They haven't taken care of him yet. They've waited a long time, which makes me believe that Travis Etienne is going to be on a different team. I don't know why I think it's going to be the Vikings right now, but he's going to be on a different team before the end of this season. And they're going to hand it over to Tank Bigsby. They drafted Tootin, and they drafted Allen. So you draft 2 rookies. You got Tank, who's a workhorse. That guy just goes away. I feel like if I told him to be on the football field all day, he would be. So I think the Jaguars have already made the statement, and I think that he's trade bait. Because if Jacksonville lets this season go through, doesn't extend him, and lets him leave the team for nothing as an unrestricted free agent, it will be another bad move in a long line of what the hell are they doing moves that they've had, which I hope does not happen for the sake of the franchise. Let's move to the defensive side of the ball. We'll start with the D-line because we ended with the O-line on the other side. Josh Hines-Allen is now a defensive end. He's been a hybrid. He's marked as a DN now. Trayvon Walker, who's a hybrid, which means that they can play D-line linebacker. He is marked as a DN. Devon Hamilton is still on the team at D-tackle. DeJuan Smoot was brought back onto the team after let go, unceremoniously in my opinion. He's a D-end. Kalen Saunders Sr. they traded for during the preseason. That was a weird thing. They played the New Orleans Saints, and then they took a Saint in the same day off the team. They played against Saunders and then said, we like that guy. Give us that guy. And they took him. Austin Johnson, a D lineman, he is on the team. Emmanuel Agba, D line as well. Eric Armstead, who they made a move for, coming from the San Francisco 49ers last year. He's still on the team at D tackle. Danny Strigo, D lineman, is on the team. BJ Green II is on the team at D line, and then Mason Smith, who they drafted last year out of LSU, at D tackle. So there are some known faces here. Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, Devon Hamilton, DeJuan Smoot, Eric Armstead, and Mason Smith. What are your thoughts about the defensive line? I think, George O'Leary said a long time ago to me, PJ, in Rhode Island, when we pulled up 2 chairs and sat knee to knee and we talked to each other, he said, you build a championship team from the trenches out. You build it from the O-line, D-line out. If you don't know that you win a championship from building from the inside out, you should do something other than play football because you just don't get it. And I'm paraphrasing here, but that was the essence of what he said to me. Well, the Jaguars have had problems on the O-line and the D-line. They haven't won a championship or made the playoffs because they haven't built well from the inside out. Do you think this defensive line looks better than last year?
Daniel, I can't comment on that. Not familiar with these guys at all. I just liked the Allen and Walker. I believe there was some talk. Was it a couple days ago that someone was trying to get Trayvon Walker for a second-round pick? I think it was the Eagles. But anyway, certainly the bookends aren't going anywhere. You got to stop up the middle. It means you got to have better linebackers. Go right to the linebackers.
Yeah.
A couple of these guys, if they're going to play a 4-3, 2 of these 4 guys are going to be in the middle. Now, we're familiar with Smoot. I don't know anything about BJ Green or Danny Stringout, but if Smoot and Agba can anchor the middle and let the guys on the outside flow around and the linebackers move up, they got a shot to stop some runs. We'll know very rarely, believe me. The very first game, some team is going to start running against the Jaguars, whoever they're playing. I don't know who the schedule is. They'll start by running the ball up the middle and see if they can stop them. If they're not, they're going to keep running it until Liam Cohen can make an adjustment.
Yeah. So, we'll see this defensive line again when you have hybrids like Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker helpful to you. The question is the interior of the D-line going to improve, and is this D-line going to be consistent? Offensive and defensive line of Jacksonville gaping issues, and again, I am right there with George O'Leary. I've said it since he's told me. You build from the inside out. Jacksonville has to do a better job of that. At linebacker, they kept 6. Devin Lloyd, who they drafted out of Utah, goes into year 4. Foye Oluokun, who came from Yale, one of my favorite people to talk to, in his 8th year. Ventrell Miller, who they've had on the team, 3rd year out of Florida. Go
Gators.
There it is. Then they have Jack Kaiser. Jack Kaiser at linebacker out of Notre Dame. He's a rookie. And then they have Yasir Abdullah, who they drafted out of Louisville in his 3rd year. And then Dennis Gardeck from Sioux Falls, which I did not know was a school, in his 8th year. So, PJ, we know that Devin Lloyd's done some good things. Foye Oluokun has been a leader on this team. He's been a captain multiple times. Do you feel better about the linebacker situation?
I do. And one kid I've been following and who's going to be sort of like another Luke Cacelli is Jack Kaiser. This kid's got all the tools to make it. He's fast. He's tough. He can go side to side. He can cover out of the backfield. This kid's going to play. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts every other game or something like that, or bring him in whenever Oluokun is tired or something like that. But I'm very, very happy and excited that Jack Kaiser can play this kind of football. I like this kid. You heard it from Papa J.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Kaiser can do as we step forward here into the season for the Jaguars. Notre Dame obviously having a fantastic season, and I was there with them to that final piece of the national championship, interviewing those gentlemen, including my good buddy Riley Leonard. Defensive backs, which has been a huge issue for the Jaguars. They drafted C.J. Henderson out of Florida. He didn't even last, I think, 3 years in his rookie contract. They brought in plenty of guys. Tyson Campbell out of Georgia. They had another Campbell out of Ohio State that didn't translate. They let go of who I considered the best defensive back they had. Safety, corner, everybody together in a pool. The best one that they had last year, Andre Cisco. They let him go for nothing. Stupid, in my opinion. One of the dumbest moves that they could have made. They got him in the third round as a steal, and they let him go to the Jets on a one-year deal. Who they do have, they have Jordan Lewis, cornerback out of Michigan in his 9th year. Tyson Campbell, cornerback in his 5th year out of Georgia. Darnell Savage, who they brought in last year, a safety out of Maryland, 7th year. And, well, within the last 2 years they brought him in. Of course, they drafted Travis Hunter, a two-way player out of Colorado. Christian Braswell, cornerback out of Rutgers in his second year. Jarian Jones, who they drafted out of Florida State, goes into year 2 at corner. Raywan Lane III, defensive back, a rookie out of Navy. Let's go, Navy. Great seeing the military academy is getting him in there. And I've covered Navy for over a decade now. Antonio Johnson, safety, 3rd year out of Texas A&M. Eric Murray in his 10th year out of Minnesota at safety. Monteric Brown, who they drafted, and is going into his 4th year out of Arkansas at corner. And the man that I love every time he makes the roster, makes me happy, Dewey! That is Andrew Wingard, who's been on the show many times. Safety, 7th year out of Wyoming. What you know about Wyoming? I know about Dewey, and I know about that man they called Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills, both coming from Wyoming. PJ, how do you feel about the defensive backs here? And here's a question for you. Will we see Travis Hunter more as a wide receiver or more as a corner?
That's a good question, too. That's a tough question. I would have to say that, geez, Daniel, I think they're planning on starting them both ways. And whenever the kid gets tired, give him a blow, you know. I don't want to see the kid hurt, but apparently he's got the body to do it. I mean, he's certainly tall enough, 6'3", probably 205 or something like that. That's a tough question. And I hope that they're using their wherewithals to take care of this kid. If they're double teaming on offense, maybe it opens up the field for the other guys. If they're double teaming him too much, get him off the field, change your alignment, and do something different. Make him play more on defense. The guy that who we like to talk about is Wingard. I mean, that he's a survivor. This guy, you never think that he's good enough to play. All of a sudden, he comes in, he makes plays. He's on a kickoff team, this, that, everywhere. Andrew Wingard will not go away. Every year, I think he's going to get cut, and here he is coming back. It's great.
Yeah.
What do you call him, Dewey?
Yeah, his nickname is Dewey. So, yeah, Mr. Dewey Wingard. So the Dewster, very happy to have Dewey, one of the workhorses. Another guy with Dewey that was a workhorse on the team, Chad Muma at linebacker. They let him go. I don't agree with that move. Love talking to Chad Muma. Love spending time with him. So appreciate him very much. The 3 specialists that they have, Logan Cook goes into his 8th year out of Mississippi State, and long snapper.
Daniel, let's back up a minute and go back to the safeties again.
Yeah.
You brought up Andre Cisco.
Yeah.
Of the last 10 years, this is one of the most boneheaded plays that I've ever heard. It was a bonehead move by professionals that aren't very professional. Why let someone like that go? I don't understand it. And when I heard that, I was really pissed off about it. And I noticed you like him because you talked about him all the time.
Yeah.
And he was a stalwart. He played. He made plays. He defended passes. He got interceptions. Ran down backs. He made good tackles. What more can he ask from the guy? So, anyway, it's going to be the Jaguars' loss. I'm pissed off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm upset too, and it's going to be their loss for sure, and it's just stupid. It's absolutely it was just a boneheaded move, and it makes no sense to me. They have spent higher draft picks, top 10 draft picks on defensive backs that aren't on the team anymore. Like I said, C.J. Henderson, things that didn't work out. Campbell didn't work out. C.J. Henderson didn't work out. Here we are with Andre Sisco, who you get in the third round for a steal, and you let him go for literally nothing. It makes no sense. They let Christian Kirk go for a 7th-round pick, and you're going to play him twice a year because he's a Houston Texan now, and you let Evan Engram go for free, and he's potentially going to be the starting tight end for the Denver Broncos. So, I mean, don't even get me started. I mean, if you want to know why you keep losing, look at the decisions that you're making. Now, their specialist, Logan Cook at punter in his 8th year out of Mississippi State, he's been doing well. Cam Little can hit it from 75 yards, kicker, in his 2nd year out of Arkansas, and Ross Matisic comes back at long snapper, 6th year out of Baylor. Your thoughts on this, PJ, and the fact that Cam Little, who was a rookie last year, is just booting this thing from wherever he is, and they said that it doesn't count in the record books because he made a 70-yard field goal in the preseason. Here's my thing. You're in an NFL jersey playing another NFL team. Whatever the record is, it's a game. You made it. Cam Little should have the record for the longest field goal in NFL history.
Certainly, unless you're in Colorado where you have to add 5 yards because of the thin air. But this guy's got a huge leg. I think that's probably going to allow Cohen to be a little bit more freer with his thinking instead of maybe giving Trevor a chance maybe on a 4th and 2 or something like that from the 40-yard line. Say, look, we got other plans. Trevor, get off the field. Cam, get in there and kick the field goal. And that's what's going to happen. If this kid could consistently hit from over 50 yards, boy, that makes your offense look like the Green Bay Packers of 1916.
Yeah. So, I mean, it would be great to see. I mean, and the Jaguars have had some good kickers historically, but Cam Little, when they drafted him last year and they let Brandon McManus go, they let Riley Patterson go before that, I thought to myself, okay, I mean, they must really believe in this rookie. And it shows why they did and how well he's been doing as he steps into year 2. I have one kicker on my fantasy football team in both leagues. Guess who it is? Cam Mother freaking Little. Why? Because the only thing little about him is his last name. He's out there hitting them big-time field goals, and the longer your field goal is, the more points I get. So if he hits a 50-yarder, I get 5 points instead of 3. So Cam Little, shout out to you, baby, and keep doing your thing. Make sure you ice that leg and take care of it. We'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When PJ and I come back inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we're going to college football. That's right. PJ and I make our picks throughout the entire season, all the way to the national championship game, and I can't believe it's already back. But it is pick season for PJ and I, and we will be making our college football Week 1 picks right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, where sports meets life. Stay with us.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because we want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
Well, I have a check from somebody else. You're not paying for this.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets life. Great Lakes Honda City on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You can go there for sales and service by reaching out to them and scheduling an appointment. Make sure you do that. Go to GreatLakesHondaCity.com for all the information you need. If you want to give them a call, you can do that very easily by simply calling 315-437-7110, or pardon me, 315-451-6750. You can also call them their sales number, 315-979-8588, service 315-954-4525, and they're open Monday through Saturday, and of course, always on GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Make sure you check out their website. I'm on it right now here in the studio. Now, I put on two different polls during the break, both of them having to do with the Jaguars. Here are your polls. First one, preseason or not, should Cam Little now hold the NFL record for longest field goal made, 70 yards, despite it not happening in the NFL regular season? You could vote yes or no. Where do you think Travis Hunter will play more in his NFL rookie season with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Offense at wide receiver or defense at cornerback? You can vote in both of those polls by going to X, the former Twitter, at CallDT. That's CALLDT. Make sure that you follow me at CALLDT and vote in our polls all throughout the year. We try to put them up pretty much every week and definitely throughout each month. So make sure you vote in those polls today, and we appreciate you and thank you for doing so. PJ, it's time for you and I to jump into our college football Week 1 picks. The board is up on the screen. It is time to do it. We'll draw a line here, and PJ and I will make our picks. PJ, I told you who we would have coming up, and looking at what we got first and foremost in the list of picks that I gave you, we're going to start with Georgia Tech at Colorado. Deion Sanders without his son, Shedeur. Deion Sanders without Travis Hunter, the two-way player. And Georgia Tech, who returns their quarterback, Haynes King, and returns their running back, Jamal Haynes. What are your thoughts?
Well, Deion went the transfer route to get 1 million kids. He's not going to miss any of the guys we just talked about. The transfer portal is probably going to win a lot of games for them. They got a kid named Caden Salter, who is starting quarterback for them. Don't know anything about him, except Georgia Tech's got Haynes King. Both lines are new. I think Haynes King obviously is another situation where he's going to be a very good quarterback in the pros. Now, what they don't do with him this year, I'm not sure, but Haynes King can play the position. And because of that, I like Georgia Tech in this line.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado, listen, they've done some things. They've had some moments under Deion Sanders, and I give them a lot of credit for it, and they've created some really fun games. But I think a team that's underestimated that's going to be in the nation's top 25, and I think that they're going to have themselves a good season this season. I actually have Syracuse losing to them on the road. I have Georgia Tech winning this game as well, PJ, over Colorado. The next game that we have up to speak on here and to make our pick for, let's go to, I bet you didn't know this, PJ, Long Island has a football team. They're called the Sharks. They're in the same conference as Lemoyne, the Northeast Conference, but Lemoyne is one of two teams in the conference that does not have a football team, but the NEC does have football. LIU from Long Island is going to Gainesville to face your Gators. Any chance the Sharks defeat the Gators?
No. Daniel, this is going to be a scrimmage. I don't know how much they're paying LIU. It's probably going to play. They probably bought their own plane to go back and forth. This is the coming out of DJ Lagway. I mean, I don't know the athlete. I looked up actually LIU. I looked them up and I talked about them. I've read about them. They got a few good athletes, but they're not going to be in the same class. Of course they're not. I mean, but this is a game that shouldn't really even be played. I mean, of course I say that, and LIU is going to come back and win 28-24 or something like that. But no, this kind of game shouldn't even be scrimmaged. But you got to take Florida. They're probably given 45 points, but if LIU can get off a kick field goal or a touchdown early and raise their standards a little bit, maybe they can play with them. But I don't. I'm not even going to watch this game. I'm just on the Gator Network, but I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see this game being any what of a fight. Both of us are going to end up picking Florida Go
Gators
over the Sharks. I think it's interesting here that that is Gators and Sharks facing off against each other in the state of Florida. But, you know, in the wild, this might be an interesting matchup on like National Geographic. But for college football,
Yeah,
I don't think this is a fight at all. So,
National Geographic can beat Long Island.
yeah, so we're gonna go with the Gators in this one to get the victory, and I don't think there's too much that has to be said about it. The next one that we have up here, PJ, to talk about is going to be the LSU at Clemson game. Brian Kelly called Clemson's Death Valley Jr. Now, there is a Death Valley in California. There's a Death Valley at LSU. There's a Death Valley in Clemson. The question is, which one's the real one? But Brian Kelly decided to give locker room material to a coach and a team that doesn't need it in Dabo Swinney and Clemson. Where do you think is the real Death Valley? Is Brian Kelly going to have to eat these words, or is Brian Kelly going to get a victory in Clemson?
It's definitely LSU. LSU had a Death Valley long before Clemson football came up. I like watching Kate Klubik throw this year. It's going to be fun. Both these quarterbacks will probably be drafted. Both of these teams have elite NFL prospects. I mean, you can't – this is like a mini pro game, just like Ohio State and Texas. Be some serious football played here, Daniel. And I like Clemson in a squeaker over LSU.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good game. This could be a 28-24 game. I'm picking Clemson as well in this matchup. I think anybody who thought that Clemson fell off the map and they're not what they used to be, and is Dabo Swinney going to be able to coach in the NIL world and blah, blah, BS, I think Clemson is going to remind you who they are and what they are capable of, because I think Clemson is going to be back in the college football playoff, but I think they might be one of those teams that has a bye week in the college football playoff this year. I think you need to watch out for Clemson. I'm not going to call it a revenge tour. I'm just going to say, if you thought that Clemson wasn't Clemson anymore, well, you're going to see that you, in my opinion, are probably very, very ignorant to Dabo Swinney and what they could do. And Cade Klubnik, they hated him. Now I think they're going to love him, just like they did to Jordan Travis at FSU. So I got Clemson in this game as well. Notre Dame at Miami. This is one of two games, PJ, that will be played on Sunday, August 31st. Notre Dame is ranked in the top 10. Miami's ranked in the top 10. Notre Dame just named their starting quarterback between a true freshman and a true sophomore. Instead of having Steve Angeli, who is behind Riley Leonard and filled in their college football playoff matchup against Penn State and went 6 of 7, Steve Angeli will be starting for Syracuse. Notre Dame had to pick their starter, and Miami's starter is a guy coming off of injury, Mr. Carson Beck, who spent last year at Georgia. What do you have for Notre Dame at Miami in southern Florida?
I think this game, like most games early in the year, I think is one in the trenches, and I give that nod to Miami. I never can think very much of Notre Dame. I guess I say that every year, and they win, but, so what? I don't. I like Miami in this game. Actually, I like them. Carson Beck, I think, can throw for a bunch of yards. I know Notre Dame's got some good athletes, and so does Miami. But these kind of games, are only for the NFL pros to watch and the agents. I'm going to sign this kid. I'm going to sign this kid. They don't care about the score or anything like that. But I like Miami in this game.
Yeah, I'm going with Miami as well. I'm leaning on the home team in this matchup. Notre Dame is a team that I almost picked for this game, but I'm going to lean on the side of Miami because they're at home to be able to get this victory. I hope Carson Beck is healthy. I hope he stays healthy, and I hope, that he has a great season so he can get himself to the NFL. Notre Dame having to choose between a true freshman and a true sophomore, and not saying the guys aren't talented, and I'm never going to say that youth can't do it, because when I was 18 years old, going into my world as a professional, I wanted people to respect me. So I respect you for who you are and not how old you are. I think that Miami's just going to have a little bit more, and because they're at home, I'm going more on their side in this matchup in this first week. The next one that we're going to go to, PJ, will take us to, there's so many, there's a bunch of good games, thank goodness, that we can see some of these, but I'm trying to save some until the end. So let's go TCU at North Carolina, the only Monday night football game. And you know what? Enjoy it, college football, because after this week, the NFL is back, and they'll be taking Monday night. But for this week, Bill Belichick gets to have a Monday night game, but he's not an NFL quarterback or NFL coach anymore. So he gets the Monday night matchup after having a bunch of primetime opportunities with the New England Patriots, all too fitting that Bill Belichick is on Monday night. Does he win in his first game as the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, who, by the way, PJ, had to get 70 new players on their roster? Or does TCU and Sonny Dykes, who led the team to a college football playoff berth, they're only in their history, does he get the win on the road? TCU at North Carolina, what do you got?
Well, anytime you hear Sonny Dykes, you think about offense right off the bat, and that TCU's got a super offense. They returned 12 starters across the boards. This is too much for Bop and Bill to overcome. I think he's probably going to really get a good taste of what college football is. This one to me is an easy TCU win, and it's going to be a laugher.
Yeah, PJ's going with TCU in this one. I've thought to pick TCU, but there's something about Monday night and Bill Belichick. There's something about it. I think if this game is close, the ref might throw a flag just to help him out. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. but we'll see what happens in this. I want to pick, I literally, in my head, I'm like, TCU. I got to pick TCU. The thing with TCU is, as good as they played and as good as they've done in recent history, they will sometimes blow the big game. Bill Belichick, not known to blow the big game. This is his first game back into coaching. And I just feel like it's all too poetic. I'm going to give the nod to North Carolina. I'm not going to be surprised if TCU wins this game. But I'm going to give the nod to North Carolina. Bill Belichick, Monday night. He knows everybody's watching. There's no other college football game on that night. There's no NFL game on that night. So they will be paying attention to you, Bill. And so I'm going to go with Bill in the spotlight to get the win. So PJ, this is the only one that we've gone against each other. We don't see our picks beforehand. So this is the only one we've gone against each other with. So PJ picks TCU, and I am going to go with North Carolina in their matchup. The next game that we got a few more up in our first picks of the college football season. We're going to go to the doubleheader that we have that I'll be at, by the grace of God. The Aflac kickoff game has 2 games this year. They play it like a bowl game. It is run by a bowl game. The Peach Bowl, Inc., which oversees the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, also oversees the Aflac kickoff game, and that will see Syracuse, Tennessee on Saturday, August 30th at noon Eastern Time, and on Sunday, August 31st, the second game in the doubleheader at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Virginia Tech up against South Carolina. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl used to be ACC versus SEC, but now being a part of the college football playoff rotation, they do not get to pick their matchups. The seeding of the College Football Playoff Committee selects their matchups. So the essence of the ACC SEC is not an every year thing in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl because they get who they get. So what did they do? They made the Aflac kickoff game to keep the essence of the ACC SEC alive, giving us a bowl game at the beginning of the season, finding a way to marry being in the college football playoff and still keeping their history alive. Why? Because Gary Stoke and Matt Garvey and the team are very smart when it comes to Peach Bowl, Inc. Syracuse, Tennessee is the first game. It's the first one we'll handle at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Who do you got, PJ?
Obviously, Tennessee is more talented, in my opinion. Syracuse, after last year's great season, and Coach Fran doing what he does, and he's got a good recruiting class coming in too. Tennessee secondary is a little weak, and I think that Syracuse can jump onto that. But frankly, if the game goes on longer and longer and longer, Tennessee's going to assert themselves. This is Tennessee to me.
Yeah, PJ going with Tennessee in this matchup. Tennessee has a new quarterback in Joey Aguilar, and Joey came from UCLA where he was at for a minute, never played it down. He played at App State, and then Steve Angeli, he has never been a starting quarterback in college football, but he stepped in the college football playoff and arguably one of the best backups in the history of mankind when it comes to football to go 6 of 7 and help Notre Dame to win a game over Penn State in a high-octane situation in the college football playoff. I believe there is going to be a turnover in this game, 1 or 2. I believe one of them is going to be a fumble, and I believe it's going to be recovered by Syracuse. And with that being said, I think Syracuse is the difference, squeaking out a win in Steve Angeli's first game. I'm going with the Orange. I have them losing 4 games this season, not this one. I'm going with the Syracuse Orange to win it. In the second game of the Aflac Kickoff doubleheader, PJ, Virginia Tech returns Kyron Drones off of injury at quarterback. And who is his offensive coordinator? My buddy and the former Tulsa Golden Hurricane head coach, who was hired by Brent Pry to lead the offense, and that being Philip Montgomery. On the other side, we have a guy who is committed to Syracuse and then decommitted to stay home in his home state of South Carolina and play with the Gamecocks. He is now a nationally known quarterback and somebody allegedly making some really good NIL money in Lenora Sellers. Who wins this game? Virginia Tech or South Carolina? In what they're calling the Beamer Bowl, as Frank Beamer was the head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies for many, many years. And now Frank Beamer's son, who is at South Carolina, Shane Beamer, took over the team a few years back, and he leads South Carolina against his dad's old team. Who wins?
Actually, this is two different games to me. I think that South Carolina's defense is going to dominate Virginia Tech, and Lenora Sellers will definitely. He's already in the conversations for site to the most valuable player or the Heisman Trophy. Lenora Sellers, I think, showed some moxie by coming back to school this year and playing, because he probably could have gone pro. And this kid's the real deal. Florida's afraid of this kid. That's how good he is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Lenora Sellers, listen, they played spoiler last year. I think they're going to have a good season this year. I don't think they're playing spoiler this year as much as they're trying to make the college football playoff. Don't be surprised if South Carolina finds their way into being one of those 12 teams in the CFP at the end of this season. I am also going with South Carolina, so both of us picking that. So PJ has Tennessee, and I am going with Syracuse in that first Aflac kickoff game, and then both of us are picking South Carolina over Virginia Tech. The last game we have to go to, PJ, is a matchup that we saw in the college football playoff semifinals last year. I was on site on location for this game at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. It is a quarterfinal game this year. Last year it was a semifinal game. This decided one half of the national championship in the first ever 12-team college football playoff in the FBS. That game being Texas and Ohio State. Keep in mind, Texas has a new quarterback this year. Ohio State has a new quarterback this year. But this game was an amazing experience. And now, after being a semifinal game, it's the first game that these two are going to play against each other this year. Hard to believe one of these teams is going to have a loss in week 1. Texas, Ohio State. Who do you got?
Even one loss is not going to prevent these guys from getting to the playoffs.
Amen.
Both of these teams will probably be there.
I agree.
And they're both loaded. I mean, frankly, Daniel, this is a pick-em game if you're gamblers out there. 1 or 2 points either way. Again, in the trenches is where it's going to be. NFL scouts drool over these players playing this game. It's sort of like a mini NFL when you get these kind of teams playing. But with that being said, I think that Texas is a little bit too much, and I think that Arch Manning, this is his coming out party. So, boy, You better be ready.
Yeah. So are you going to go with Texas then?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Yeah, PJ going with Texas in this game. Arch Manning, this is the thing. People were picking on Quinn Ewers, and they didn't want Quinn Ewers, and Quinn Ewers sucks, and Quinn Ewers is an average quarterback, subpar, Dan. And I'm like, listen, I think they wanted Arch Manning so bad that they were willing to say that anybody sucks that was in front of Arch Manning. That's where it was. Now, Julian Sayin is the starting quarterback for Ohio State, and guess what? I have his rookie card that I got ahead of time, and I'm happy because I was hoping when I got that card, I'm like, please let him be the starter so this could be worth some money here and I could sell it. And when he wins, I could be like, I'm just saying. So Julian Sayin is the starting quarterback up against Arch Manning, and I am going to go with Texas. I am right here with them. I think this team is going to make the college football playoff. Ohio State can lose 5 games and still make the college football playoff. So we're in a place right now where Texas, I think, is going to get this win, but I agree with PJ. I don't think a loss for either one of these teams is going to affect them. Mark my words. They're both ranked in the top 5. Mark my words, whatever team loses this game will still be in the top 5 when the rankings come out for the AP and the coaches poll for week 2. Mark my mother freaking words. They will consider this a quality loss. If Texas loses, they'll go from like 1 to 3. If Ohio State loses, they'll go from 3 to 4. But they're not going out of the top 5. We both have Texas in this game. And PJ, with that being said, that's what our board looks like. So I gotta save this board for us so we can make sure to reflect on it as we always do.
We got another game, Daniel.
Oh, we got another game.
We got another couple games. And the big game that I know you want to talk about is Alabama and FSU.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. See, here I am. I got ahead of myself. I got excited and forgot that we had Alabama going up against FSU. MT says FSU 12-0 all day, every day. So here's the question, PJ. Kalen DeBoer, not a great season in his opening, according to Alabama standards. Does Kalen DeBoer go to FSU and get a victory? Here's some fun stuff, though. The Aflac kickoff game used to be called the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. And in that kickoff game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, I saw Alabama play FSU. And now Alabama's playing FSU to start the season again, but it's not in the kickoff game. It's going to be on the road in Tallahassee. So do the Tide roll in and roll out with a win? Or do the Seminoles, all their way to a victory? What do you got, PJ?
Well, Ty Simpson has earned the quarterback job from Alabama. He's a very talented man, obviously. I'm not sure that Florida State, Malzone is the kind of guy that maybe can throw some wrenches into this thing. He's supposed to be the big offensive guru that Norvell had to bring in. Didn't work at the end of last year, though. And I'm sure he's had it all year to hone his offensive skills with Florida State. I think that Florida State will make a game of it. I just think there's too many athletes on the other side of the field, both offensive and defensive wise. But FSU can really make a game of it. I'm certain of that. And I don't want to say it's a pick'em game, but I do think that Alabama will be favored, maybe heavily, but not in my opinion, shouldn't be that much. But I still like Alabama.
Yeah, I think Florida State, hell hath no fury like a Mike Norvell scorned. And I believe that Florida State's going to have a good season this season. I believe Mike Norvell is going to show the world what I believe is Mike Norvell. And I spent a lot of years with him. I've spent a lot of time with him, just spoke with him one-on-one. I appreciate him. I respect him. He has done great work. He has won games. He won a championship in the American, Memphis's only championship in the American. And not only that, he sends a bunch of guys to the NFL. And so I think when Jimbo Fisher left, there was a cleanup crew that needed to be there to figure out Florida State's locker room. Willie Taggart got blamed for it. It wasn't his fault. Mike Norvell got blamed for it. It wasn't his fault. And I think hopefully they'll finally be in a place where they know who wants to be there. they'll get the bad pieces of the culture out, and they'll start moving forward. However, I don't think they win this game. I think Alabama comes in and they let people know that they've come to play. And if you forgot about Alabama, they are going to show you that they, like Clemson, have their sights set on the college football playoff. I think Alabama comes in to Tallahassee and gets a victory in this game. And PJ, you said we got another one on the docket here?
No, I think that's it. I'm trying to count them.
Yeah, that's the one there. So Alabama, that being it. So this is our board. I'm going to go ahead and make sure we capture this here in the studio so that PJ and I can speak with you on this next week and see how we fared. We give our picks and then we reflect on our picks. If we're right, great. If we're wrong, then we discuss it all the same. We're not those people that give you our picks, and as long as we're right, we talk about it. We talk about the picks no matter what happens. So our picks are getting saved as we speak right now in the studio, PJ, and I look forward to seeing how this all shakes out. College football week 1, hard to believe, is upon us, and PJ and I have made our picks. We'll take a look and see how they go. PJ, any final note that you'd like to make this morning on Wake Up Call?
Oh, good. It's okay. It's a lot of fun. It was our first 2-hour show of the fall, and we're going to have them for the next probably several weeks.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. Baseball's winding down. College football's just starting, and then we got the NFL. So it's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff coming up, and you know it's a good show when it feels like 5 minutes. PJ and I speaking with you on Major League Baseball, the wild card, 130-plus games in, the Jaguars' 53-man roster, where Kyle McCord should go, and the 2025 College Football Week 1 picks. As always, PJ, I send you, MT, as well as Joey, Diana, the children, and the cat children, my love. I'll talk with you soon.
All right, thanks. See you later.
Take care. Papa Joe coming to us every Thursday and giving us 2 hours today. We will take our final step aside. We'll wrap up today's show inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios right after this. Stay with us.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards or Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. You can find everything you need from singles, packs, boxes, graded cards, as well as every NFL, every NBA, and every MLB team on their back wall with their own box. That's right, 92 franchises, and whoever you love, you can go into that box and look for your favorite players, players of note, rookies that you're trying to bring home, and you can find all different things in those boxes. Sometimes you'll find a patch card, a relic card, an autograph card, a numbered card, and like I said, rookie cards. Those boxes aren't just filled with base cards. They're filled with all different types of cards, and definitely worth looking through. They put a ton of work in at GG Cards and Breaks to go the extra mile for you. They're constantly getting in new products, including Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Pokemon outside of the sports world. You never know what you're going to find at GG Cards and Breaks in the display cases and on the shelf. They've added display cases. They brought in a bunch of graded cards. Find your way to GG Cards and Breaks today, a place where you can be a big kid all the time. Tuesday through Saturday open 10 to 6, Sundays 10 to 5 on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Chick-fil-A DeWitt, we would like to thank them for being a part of our community. Here in August, they opened for the first time on August 7th on the corner of Bridge and Erie. You'll find them. You can't miss them. They have a massive drive-through, a massive parking lot, and a massive brick building. Led by Megan Sorber, her team is there to help you have more than just a chicken sandwich. They want to see you smile, and they want to see you enjoy your day. Chick-fil-A on Bridge in Erie, a place to go to that many of you have welcomed into our community. Located by so many high schools and colleges, it is truly set amidst our community, and we look forward to seeing you out there today at Chick-fil-A DeWitt on the corner of Bridge and Erie. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I want to thank you for being a part of the show here on Wake Up Call, and I want to implore you to come and see us because the show is not over. Tonight, we will be on site, on location, with the Beeville girls soccer team celebrating the Bees on stage at Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York. We will see you tonight, August 28th at 6 p.m. on the stage right there with the Baldwinsville Bees at Pizza Man. Come out, have some dinner. We do it right around dinner time, right there at 6 o'clock. Gives you time to get home, get changed, come out, and support the community. We look forward to seeing you there with the Baldwinsville Bees. I'll be speaking with head coach Kathy Morse as well as her student athletes tonight. Baldwinsville Bees 2025 season. Come and celebrate the girls soccer team at Pizza Man August 28th, 6 p.m. We'll see you in just a few hours. With that being said, thank you for being with us on Wake Up Call up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, Monday through Friday, right here with us from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure that you are here with us and you set your schedule to make sure up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe that you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Podbean. If you forget any one of these outlets, you can go to wakeupcalldt.com, and right on our homepage, underneath the word Wake Up Call, it lets you know on wakeupcalldt.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Podbean are where to go to for the live feed. You can click on any one of those. They are color-coded, red for YouTube, blue for Facebook, and green for Podbean, so you can click on those right from our website. Of course, once we go live, we jump into the archive on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Many thanks to our North Carolinian listeners and viewers. Make sure you head out to the Brooklyn Pickle in Southern Pines, North Carolina. That Brooklyn Pickle is on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina, right down the road, less than 10 minutes from Pinehurst Golf Course. So we look forward to seeing you out there today. As well as many thanks to our team of partners in Central and Upstate New York that's about to get larger by not one, not two, but 3 new logos you will see on this page to join Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Brian's Landing, Mother's Cupboard, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, GG Cards and Breaks, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. It is Go Bobcats every single month. With student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining me throughout the year, you can get all of our Bobcat Buzz specials by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. You'll also find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, as well as underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Binghamton University Bearcats. You'll find the Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide, and that's student athletes, coaches, and administration stories told here where sports meets life. The Bearcats are on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. I want to thank you for tuning into today's show and every Thursday with PJ. Looking forward to talking with you tomorrow. And tomorrow morning, I will be airing my special with Gary Stoken, President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., that oversees the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl inside of the college football playoff, as well as overseeing the Aflac kickoff game. The Aflac kickoff game doubleheader this season is Saturday, August 30th, Syracuse, Tennessee, and Sunday, August 31st, Virginia Tech, South Carolina. Ahead of both of those games, on the eve of the doubleheader, I will have Gary Stoken to speak on both matchups going into it, so your perfect primer to your weekend doubleheader for the Aflac kickoff game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta is right here on Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Again, I will see you at Pizza Man tonight with Beeville Girls Soccer. The Bees and I will start our live broadcast at dinner time today, August 28th at 6 p.m. We look forward to seeing you out there. For now, Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, X at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. For Papa Joe and for myself, Dan Tortora, I say God bless, no stress. Do your best. Have a wonderful day, stay safe, and take some time out for yourself to relax. Be well.